My next piece is dedicated to Max Roach. It's called Our Drums, and I'm really gonna. Anton Reed is here, and I just have to point him out every time he's here, and I do this piece because you know, Max Roach, the legendary drummer. This piece was written for him after he passed away, and Anton Reed was his personal assistant for 30 years. So that's why I told him he can't leave. He got to hear this piece again. Okay, it's called Our Drums. They took our drums away, but it didn't stop our hearts from beating. They took our drums away to stop our hearts from beating, and we still needed music. We took their garbage cans and shaped them into steel orchestras, and a mighty sparrow began to sing. Our music ascends in early mornings to wake up gods. They took our drums away because instead of drums, they saw weapons. And they feared weapons. But the music is in us. The music is in us. We heard you, Max, when you screamed, South Africa, goddamn! And your beating drum beat down the hungry dogs of apartheid. And for once, Africa exhaled, but only for a moment. And that sound you organized, they called jazz. You called the original music of Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Sarah Vaughan, Ella, and of course you, Mr. Max Roach. They took our drums away, but then from the Barbadian waters, a master drummer found his way into Brooklyn, and Junior's cheesecake never tasted so good, and Spice jumped into the mustard spread on a knish, and Bob Marley followed, and Bun and Cheese, and Beep Beep Vance, and Cuckoo, and Arroz con Polo all had one big party. They took our drums away, Max, but then we got you. And then all of the drums knew it was safe to come back home and parade up and down Eastern Parkway on Labor Day. And don't we know a little something about labor? 400 years of forced, unpaid-for labor. Your drums told our stories. Your drums rocked us to sleep at night. Your drums tickled Tito Puente, and sometimes they were soft and gentle like When the Willow Wept for Me. And sometimes they were uncensored like Miles and hard like Bebop, and you said they didn't understand Dizzy. And so they named it to claim it, and Bebop turned it to hip-hop, and that was named and claimed and kidnapped and shackled, and here we go again. But you said it will never stop. Our music will originate and agitate and irrigate our parched souls for fairness, peace, justice, and in all of it, will be you. And now that you are gone, a raft stronger than Katrina hit Louisiana, and I can hear Lady Day's song, Strange Fruit, hanging off the tree where the Jenna 6 sat, seeking shade from a hot sun. I wonder what your drums would say to Dizzy about that. I wonder what Dizzy's trumpet would say back. I wonder if Ron Carter's bass could just stand a little taller after that. Max, I can see the innocence of a young girl in West Virginia tortured for days while Tawana Brawley screams, I told you so. I wonder what your drums would say to Charlie Parker. I wonder what Bird Sachs would say back. I wonder if Clifford Brown could have just stayed around a little longer. I wonder what your drums would say about all of that. Thank you. I'm going to finish it with what I'm now calling my signature piece. And this is the piece that I read here, Mr. Siegelman, that he said, okay, come on back. Maybe you got some chops. All right. And it's also the subtitle for my book, which again is called, did I tell you it's called Stealing Peace? Yeah. The name of my book is called Stealing Peace. And the subtitle is Let's Talk About Racism. And so I'm going to do the Let's Talk About Racism poem. And then I do hope that you guys will talk about racism when you leave and when you have dinner and when you have breakfast and when you're walking through the park and courting one another and doing sweet and nice things for each other. Talk about racism. Let's talk about racism so that it can reign 40 days and 40 nights with peace. Let peace live the streets with joy like a ticker tape parade, but the heroes we cheer will be us. With pieces of heaven cascading down from the sky, peace will drop, and the children's spirits of Soweto will stick their tongues out to let love-lace flakes of peace fall into their mouths like snowflakes from their first snow of a warm, wishful winter. When we talk about racism, words will be shaped into hearts, flooding office corridors to travel away from water coolers and away from bulletproof cubicles to seep into the air we all breathe. Talks of racism will flow, unveiling hidden words spoken loudly in Bed-Stuy barbershops and soul food kitchens where meals should be eaten without talks of racism. Candlelight dinners for new lovers with new hopes and new dreams won't be spoiled with talks of racism. Racism would have already been taught. When we talk about racism, the guest who's coming for dinner will no longer be a guest, because we as humans will all know each other, and the mysteries of who we are and where we come from will be solved. Mother Africa's little children named England, Belgium, France, and Spain can all come back home again because a mother's love is always forgiving. Let's talk about it so the Philippines can tell Prince Philip of Spain, no thank you, you can keep your name and we will keep our country and our freedom. Let's talk about racism so we can pin a colored ribbon on our shirts to help find a cure for this age-old disease. Let's talk about it so we can stop Indians from selling their kidneys on the streets of India as if they were hot off the press and sold like newspapers on the corner of a busy Manhattan street. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about racism to each other, to Oprah, to Jerry Springer, Montel, Dr. Phil, Tyra, and even Susie Orman. Let's talk about it so we can get it out of our systems and keep it out of our nurseries and out of our nursery rhymes and out of our fairy tales, because fairy tales can come true. They can happen to you and me and you, and peace will remain in pieces. Let Hillary talk about it, Sarah Palin, McCain, Obama, and Biden. Let's talk about racism so that it can be disarmed and not used as a tool to put you against me, so there is no we while our riches are being stolen right up from underneath us. Bauxite in Jamaica, rubber from the Congo, gold, diamonds, and oil from Africa, oil from Trinidad, oil from Iraq, heroin and opium from Afghanistan, cocaine from Latin America, and salt from India. Let's talk about racism for the healing to start and the stealing to stop. Let's talk about racism so that poets can write poems only about love.